Hello, everybody. Jon Snedeker here with Notary Signing Agent Blueprint. Today we have the show of the century with Signing Agent Secrets. We are here with the wonderful Stu Berman of Berman Notary LLC out of beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Today you're in for a real treat, guys. Stu has been a signing agent for about a decade and is absolutely making it happen in Las Vegas. Stu is not only a leader in our industry, but he also is a very active in many different Facebook groups and is the nicest human being I've ever met in the signing agent business in over a decade, along with his brother Scott, which I have to plug that as well. Stu, thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You got it. So Stu, just take me back just a little bit. How did you even find out, loan signings was even a career? What were you doing? How'd you find out about it?
I was a notary in a different industry years ago, and a good friend of mine, his sister, she is still a current signing agent, and she kind of said, "Look, I can get into this business and run it as a business, do my own business," and she taught
Right.
me everything I needed to know
Awesome.
over Skype.
Oh, cool. How about
Yes.
that? That's awesome.
Yes. Yep. And her name is Barbara Minch. She's active in all the notary chat rooms, and she's a great person. Her her brother Gary unfortunately passed away 4 years ago, but he was a really good friend, and he also became a signing agent, and it was the best choice I ever made.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Now, when you started out, did you struggle at all initially, or did you hit the ground running from that training, or maybe a combo of both? I mean, everybody's different. And so how did it sort of work out for you?
In the beginning, it was slow. It was slow to actually gain clients. Uh, but as I learned, and you stumble a few times, it started out slow. But over the years, as you get to do more and more closings, it just became easier and easier.
Right. There's a sort of learning curve, and then you say, okay, I got this sort of figured out a little bit. Now you're still doing, we're both still doing closings. What's one aspect of the job that you sort of enjoy? What sort of keeps you doing it? What do you enjoy about this job, Stu?
I love not having a boss standing over my head and telling me what to do. I love to make my own dreams come true. Uh, being my own boss, that's the way to go. And I love what I do.
That's fantastic. We just had a call with one of my students, Nisha, and she brought up the point, like, John, like, they're not over my shoulder. They're not here, like, this is fantastic. And that's another huge thing for me is, if you're self-motivated and really want to get after it, you don't need anyone to tell you. I mean, you need to learn the business, but the idea is you have that freedom, you have that flexibility. Your soul is free. You can go create whatever you want to create with loan signings because you can do so many different things in this business, and that's just fantastic. That not only you're still doing it, but you enjoy it, and it's obviously you're still doing it for a reason.
Yes, it isn't just the loan signings, but even general notary work. You just can't just focus on one avenue. Yes, there's more money to be made in loan closings, but there's money to be made in a general notary world as well.
Sure, and carve your niche and figure out what's important. Everybody's different. As long as you're carving your niche and making sure that you are top of your customer's mind with whatever you do, right? And that's a big deal. There's, you when you get in this, Stu, maybe can you talk, like, people sort of don't understand that when you become a notary and you become a signing agent, you get opportunities first. You're a leader. They know you're type A. You get hit up to be proctor of exams, insurance inspections, merchant services inspections, taking photos. These people find you to do work. And so there's lots of sort of opportunities that come your way through that notary gateway. Have you been offered opportunities like that into your email box mysteriously like I have? Or I know it's not
Yes, I
just me.
have. But I don't do inspections. I don't go out there and do that. I just don't have time because I focus mostly on closings and on my general notary work. And I do a lot of advertising all
Right.
geared toward that. So though there are other notaries that like doing inspections over general notary work or only want to do closings, I prefer to handle both of those fronts as a two-pronged uh, goal, both on the general notary front, uh, meeting people, helping people throughout Las Vegas and
Sure.
the whole state, and through uh, the loan
Loan
closings part of
signings.
it as well.
Right. Do you
Yes,
enjoy one more than the other, or do you find them you just appreciate both avenues and like a
I
two-pronged approach, like
appreciate
you say?
both.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
good thing is when you do loan closings, you can also gain a client for life. If they like you, if you
Sure.
show them that you know what you're doing and you're good at what you do, they will call you, and they'll call you over and over throughout the years for something that they
Sure.
need.
Stu, I firmly believe in lifetime cash flow through loan signings. Real estate's going nowhere. Mortgages are going nowhere. I know of 15 business streams, purchase, refi, seller packages. I count 15 specific to loan signings. That's a lot. And so when you understand where to get the orders, how to get the orders, and that houses aren't going anywhere and mortgages aren't going anywhere and cash purchases, even without a loan, they still need signing agents. I go to my local real estate investor meetings. Guess what, guys? A good and bad economy, guess what? They're still flipping houses, right? And they still need to do those transactions. And so when you have a good grasp of what's sort of happening in the real estate world, I firmly believe in lifetime cash flow. And that's the reason I'm still in this business. And, to each their own. I don't do general notary work, but Stu does. There's no real right or wrong as long as you're just sort of operating to the tune of, whatever floats your boat, essentially.
It's
um,
wherever you could find the way to make money. If you find it in just one avenue of doing loan closings, that's great. If you only want to do general notary work, that's great too. When the economy is good or bad, you might want to market yourself in one direction or in the other, or in both, or in multiple streams, like you were saying, doing inspections. But you need to know your market trends in the area that you live. They said
yeah.
what is good here in Nevada might not be good in Florida, and vice versa.
Sure. So let's talk about that. You're 10 years in. How are things going? Overall, how are things going for you? Very well. Are you
Actually,
happy? Can you maybe share a
11
little bit?
years.
11 years. Okay.
11 years as a signing agent, 12 years as a notary.
Time goes
And
quick.
time goes quick, yes. And as you know, when I started, the downturn in the market was fully entrenched. And I started out when it was extremely slow, and I
Mhm.
learned how to do things beginning at
Yeah.
that time. In the early part of this decade, uh, I was doing more general notary work, and then all of a sudden the closings started to really get busy.
Take
More
off.
and
Yeah.
more investors coming here and buying cash properties
Yep.
uh, as well. And then all of a sudden it just picked up. 2012, 2013, 2014, every year got better.
Yep.
2015 is
There's
when I
some good
started to
years.
expand my business. Oh, yes.
There's some
I
good
started
years
my
then.
expansion.
Yep.
Right. In 2015, I decided to go further out than just here in Clark County where I live.
Yep.
I ended up going to our neighboring counties, Lincoln County, Nye County. And then 2016, I branched out statewide, especially up in northwestern part of the state, Reno, Carson City area, Lake Tahoe.
Right.
Those are really busy and upcoming parts of the state. And it just kept getting busier and busier. Yes, it has slowed down again, but by now, if with all the contacts that I have, I still get closings. I'm still busy. I'm
Yep.
not as busy as it was 5 years ago, but I'm
Right.
not,
Those are
it's
some
not
good
like it
years.
was 10 years ago.
Yeah. When you take care of people, they come back, Stu. I mean, it's a paperwork.
Yes.
They know who does a good job, and guys try to throw in some nice little sort of golden nuggets or secrets. When you do good work, make sure you're putting back some business cards in those packages, because when they open it and see perfect work, guess whose name should be there? Yes, your name's on the paperwork, but there's other notary names all the time on their other packages. So you want to make sure that when you do perfect work, make sure your card is in there. And guess what? If you're not so sure if the paperwork is perfect, well, you better figure it out before you send it back. But even if you don't know, maybe don't put your card in there, okay? Make sure your card's in there when it's perfect paperwork.
Invest in file folders, not just rubber banding it, but put your loan docs into a file folder, paperclip your card on that file folder. make sure it looks neat and clean, and don't
Right.
use a plunger to put it into the FedEx envelope when you
Yep.
ship it back. If
Yeah.
you're neat and clean and it looks good, no mistakes, they
Yep.
will ask for you and they will call.
Right. They recognize, they know who goes that extra little care. It could be the difference maker between someone who, anything unique that you can do is just going to make you stick out in a positive way. So Stu, what does success look like to you with loan signings? You talked about a two-prong approach, general notary work and the loan signings, but is there anything as far as if I ask you what success is to Stu Berman at this point, a decade in, what does success look like to you?
Doing loan closings directly for the title companies or escrow companies or lawyers from the East Coast, doing it directly from the source. When you're new, doing closings from these third-party companies or signing services is the way to go to gain experience and to
Right, very
learn.
true.
But as time goes on and you show that you know what you're doing and you know how to do it and you know how to make people smile when you're sitting in their home or at their
Right,
business or in a coffee shop, they will give you a high review. When the title company calls them and asks them after the closing, as it does happen, they ask, how was your signing agent? How
yeah,
was your
we just
notary?
talked about that yesterday. Right, they do call. They want to know: are you professional? Are you on? Or, was a signing agent professional? Did they show up on time? And how are they dressed? Those are three, key questions. Not so much
If
like,
you,
did they
yeah,
do this? Did they do that? It's like, no, they just want the gist of it, right? It's if you're dressed well, on time, and professional. Give them a handshake. That's like 85% of the job in the review. So you got to make sure you don't screw that up, guys. Just the simple things
right.
go a long way in this business.
And knowing what the documents are all about, knowing how to answer the proper questions, not
Right,
giving your answers, not telling them whether the rate they got is good or bad. You can't go there.
right.
Explaining just the general paperwork. What is a deed of trust, or in the East Coast, a mortgage? What does
Mortgage,
this
right?
mean?
Depends on the state, right?
But not why it says what it says. Why do I have to come up with $17,000? Well, I can't answer that question, but we can call the person that knows that answer.
Right,
It's just knowing how to speak, how to talk to the client, and how to treat them like they're gold, because without
right.
them, you have nothing.
You have nothing. Exactly right. And a lot of people get, in a lot of the communities that we're both in, Stu, there's a lot of frustrations from newer notaries that just don't seem, they just haven't been through it yet, right? And so you get a lot of frustrations, but it's very clear to me that you're not treating the signer like gold and platinum, and you're not treating your client like gold. There's a lot of frustrations, but it's very clear that the relationship is not, a gold to gold interaction. It's not a one-way road in this business. A lot of companies may feel that way, but trust me, there's a lot of companies that do have that appreciation of, doing the right things and taking care of clients, and they genuinely value that. So making sure that you're not putting up with clients, BS essentially if you don't have to. You just got to treat them like gold. And for anyone that doesn't treat you as gold back, you'll find someone who will. You just have to do the legwork to find that company. There are tons of companies out there that will.
And not just that, but if you're working for a company that you really don't like, or maybe they don't pay you on time, but yet you're still taking work from them, don't take it out on the borrowers that you're sitting in front of.
Right, right.
Everybody is
Put on the
different. You
show,
need to treat,
yeah.
you got to put on that show, you got to put that smile on, because it will get back to them if you are
Right.
coming in there rude or unhappy or disrespectful. It will come back to you.
Check
I know,
your
because
baggage at the front door. Go in there, do the show.
right.
You got baggage, you're on a bad day, none of that matters. You go in there, you take care of the business, you be polite, professional. I don't care if the only time you smile is that 20 minutes throughout the day. You go in there and you smile, and check your, personal things going on in your life at their door to take care of business. And that's a real, pros pro approach to doing business, loan signings in the rain and in the sun. It doesn't
But you
matter. You
can't
just do
always
them.
make everyone happy too. You can't always make everyone happy, but you just do your best.
Right.
That's the bottom line. Do your best, know what you're doing, and just do it right the first time. And
Yeah.
always inspect your work before you walk away from that signing table. It's
Yeah.
easier to fix a mistake while you're still there
Yep.
than it is to have to chase someone down after the fact at your own expense.
Sure. So let's talk about that a little bit, Stu. Do you think that this is a job that anybody can do to sign paperwork, or do you think there's sort
Oh,
of a
yes.
required characteristics to be, more successful, or maybe both? What's your take on that?
Well, not talking about doing it as a business, but in general, as long as you are halfway intelligent, you know what these documents are, you've gone through all the training, no matter what training that you go with. If you know what you're doing, you're going to do well. But running it as a business, that's important too. You have to know how to
Sure.
treat this as a business,
Right.
not just a part-time gig where, okay, I could accept a job for $50 and I guess I'm doing okay until the end of the month when you look at everything and realize, goodness, I took a huge loss.
Right.
You
And
have
make
to
it
know
worth
what
your
you're doing.
time. Yeah, whether you're doing it
Yes.
full time or part time, you have to treat it like a business. Everyone gets in, Stu, and they're like, paperwork, I can make 200 bucks in a half hour, 100 bucks in a half hour, 45 minutes, whatever. You can make really good money. 75 to 200 is kind of what I quote, 75 to 175. The most I've made was like 250 on a closing. I've heard of notary signing agents, Stu, back in the day. I met a lady, did her closing. She made $600 a closing and made 1,800 bucks in one day in Florida, just doing 3 stops. Those days are long gone, in my opinion. But you can do really
Well,
well. But
that's the
there's a whole
high
back
end,
end to the business. It's just paperwork,
right?
yes, but there is a back end. You do have to treat it like a business. And we're definitely going to get into that in just a little bit. And so, you do feel like anyone can do this job then?
Oh, yes.
Essentially, yep. Okay. I agree. I mean, paperwork is paperwork. It's sign and date. But for the people that want to be more successful, there are, a lot of traits that even if you don't have them, you can pick up fairly quickly, like discipline and being humble and, showing gratitude and, learning the simple, subtle things to make a client want Stu Berman versus, the next notary signing agent in Henderson out there in Vegas. So, it's not a very hard thing to learn, but there are some subtle tips to sort of stand out a little bit, which we'll also discuss too.
It's easy to learn how to do this job, but like I said before, it's not easy to run it as a full-fledged business. You need to have that type of knowledge as well. Even if you were a manager for a company that you used to run, you have that knowledge here. Or if you've been self-employed in the past, you have that knowledge. Not everyone really knows how to look at your Excel uh, a spreadsheet at the end of the month and know, did I make a profit? Did I not make
Sure,
a profit? Why is my bank account in the negative? Why am I paying out more than I'm making? Not
sure.
everyone understands.
Stu, I mean, you got taxes as a business, right? And so you don't want to.
What are
I
the
try to tell
taxes?
people, you don't want to try to out mechanic the car mechanic. You don't want to out accountant your accountant. I mean, these people do that for a living. Go find people that excel at what they do, so that way, you're not entirely off the hook with your taxes, but you can still hire a professional. And a business requires more than just the front paperwork side for what we do. You still have taxes. You still have systems, little simple systems that help you, with your time management throughout the day. And there's a lot of things that you can do. But let's talk about marketing yourself, Stu. There's a lot of people that listen here, haven't done their first closing, are not sure if they want to be a notary or signing agent, or maybe they literally just became a signing agent yesterday. So let's talk to some of those people that are just getting in the business and we'll both sort of give them some golden nuggets about, getting started. Let's talk about some ideas for marketing yourself. What do you have as far as thoughts with that?
If you are just being a signing agent, let's not talk about the general notary work on that end, but on a signing agent, it takes money to make money. I read in a lot of the notary chat rooms, people say, I'm not going to pay money for advertising, like 123 Notary or Notary Cafe or Notary Rotary.
Hmm.
If you don't pay for the higher spots on those listings, you're not going to get calls, or you're not going to get many calls. If someone is looking for a signing agent through a title company, through a signing service, are they going to start at the bottom of the list and go up, or at the top of that list and go down? I'm pretty sure it's at the top and go down. So if you pay for the premium listing, you will be further up that list and you will get the call. Here's the funny thing is many people don't answer their phone. So even if you're not paying the top spot, they start at the top and all they get is a voicemail, another voicemail,
Sure.
another voicemail.
Yep.
Eventually they'll get down to you. But if you have a free listing and they still get down to you, that just tells you other people not answering their phones.
Right. You know, me and Stu have been in the business about this right about the same time, and so my approach is actually don't pay for advertising, and so there's really my approach is more working directly with certain companies, not only title companies but signing service companies, and so like we talked about before, there's really no right or wrong as long as you're operating, as long as you're making money. There's many different ways. There's no John's right or wrong or Stu's right or wrong. It's whatever's working, right? And so what works for you doesn't necessarily need to be everybody else's plan, but you know, it's okay to have a different approach. There's no right or wrong. If that's working for you, fantastic. I know what works for me is not paying for advertising just because I still market myself, but I don't pay for that necessarily to get those signing orders. And so let's talk more on your side though about other maybe some ideas to market yourself. So you can do the paid advertising. Obviously, Stu dropped some hints on a couple of websites that are out there that are popular, more go-to websites for people across the country that need a signing agent in a particular area. Do you have any other ideas out there for marketing that you've done? Because we've talked
Right.
about advertising before, so whatever you want
Yes.
to you share some golden nuggets if you want to. Keep the good ones
Making
or share them. It's up to you.
Besides having business cards or having, or should I say, having really fancy business cards like mine, extremely fancy,
Here you
both
go,
front and
guys.
back.
Berman Notary, love it. 24
I
hours. There you
also,
go.
I 24-hour service. I also make pens with my information. Always give out a pen. Give out a pen. I make two types of pens, blue and black. So the black barrel pens are black ink. The blue
Yep.
barrel pens are blue. Most loan closings, most states want blue, and
Right.
that's the color by most is blue. However, making pens, that helps. Some people making postcards or sending out mailers. I don't do that personally.
Mm-hmm.
Or going into your local title companies, introducing yourself, being at least well dressed, not wearing a pair of shorts and a tank top or something. It's not a good idea.
Right.
Uh, give out a pen and a card. Bring in a box of donuts. Something.
Yep.
Uh, speak to people. Get
Sure.
yourself out there. That
Yeah.
that works. So if you're not paying for advertising on one end, but at least you're paying for something to advertise yourself
Right.
and just
Yeah,
be
you can do
yourself.
the yeah, you can get your name out there without, you know, the paid specific listing for your business, but sure, I mean the cards, the postcards, the bringing in a gift, I mean differentiating yourself, being top of mind. Why should they hire you versus the other 50 people in your area, 10 people in your area, maybe 200 people? A lot of people ask me, "Hey, there's other signing agents in my area, should I be one?" And my answer is like, the fastest way to run your car off the road is to look in the rear view mirror what everyone else is doing. You know, you got to make sure that you're not competing with them. You are competing to be the best version of yourself, and that takes investing in, you know, books. There's so much free knowledge or very cheap knowledge out there to help you with marketing. And for the people that don't know how to market in this business, guys, you're doing paperwork. It's person to person. Go out there and talk to people, just like Stu said. Go bring some donuts or coffees, or there's sort of an art to working your way up to the higher paying orders. And the higher paying orders come from a handshake, not so much a phone call. And so if you're not
Not
taking
only
any
that,
handshakes, you need to evaluate
yeah,
how you're spending your time. You know.
but not only that, if you're kind of new in the business and you really want to get more work and you do go into the title companies, offer your services, maybe to do one or two closings in their office at no charge.
Heard of
Just say,
that?
hey, I
Yep.
want to show you what I can do.
Yep.
And if you like me, give me the shot. when you, because not everywhere like Las Vegas is a tourist area where I get a lot of
Right.
work from out of state. There
Yep.
are parts of the country that are not tourist areas, and people just go into the title companies during 9 to 5 during their business hours, but some people
Right.
work odd hours. So
Yep.
that's where you have to market yourself with those title companies in the smaller parts of the country by saying, hey, let me do a job for you here. If you like what I do, you give me the shot for after hours work,
Yep.
nights, weekends. I don't mean late at night, because not everyone does closings late at night unless they're
Right.
here
What's
in Vegas.
what's the latest? Yeah, that's when everyone's up in Vegas, right? I've been there. I've been out to Vegas a couple times actually. I've even gone to even some title companies when I was out there as well, believe it or not. And so let's roll to the next. We got we're up against the clock a little bit here. So talk about when I started, Stu. I did it under my own name and social. Couple of years in, I got an LLC. I highly recommend a single member LLC just to protect yourself. Yes, it's paperwork, but there are protections for you. Can you talk about what you recommend to
Yes.
people for the entity type, if any? What do you think?
Yes. When you start out as a sole proprietor, get an EIN number immediately. Never give out your social security number, even when you're just a sole proprietor. Separate yourself from your social to an EIN number. And then as you start to expand, as you start to grow, like I am a statewide entity now.
Right, right.
Eventually, I want to be a nationwide service. That's my
Stu
goal.
Berman,
Eventually, I
love
do
it.
some closings from other states or to other states, but not that many yet.
Right.
But I became a single member LLC, and a single member means that you are the sole owner.
Yep.
But incorporating or becoming an LLC kind of protects your assets is what it does in case others make blunders. Yes, you have your E&O insurance, and I have a $500,000 E&O insurance,
Right.
but that doesn't always protect you. If someone else, if you're hiring a notary and they get into a car accident under them doing work under your name,
Right.
being an
Pre-orders. Yeah.
LLC will protect yourself. Someone will sue your LLC, but they won't sue you. If
Right.
you're a sole proprietor, same thing. But there's more tax benefits once you become an LLC.
Right.
You could also build your business credit. So if you need to go out and buy paper or any kind of stock or a printer, what have you, you can get a corporate accounts through Amazon, through
Mm-hmm.
Quill, through Office Depot, Office Max. There are so
Yep. I've
many.
had those. Right.
And
Right.
right. And plus, as you start growing and you're making more money, you have to pay your taxes quarterly. Because
Sure.
if you don't save enough, the IRS will come after you no matter who you are.
Yep, even
So
pay
you
some,
need to protect
even if you're not
yourself.
doing a lot, send $1 and $2 and $500, $1,000. Make sure you're paying your quarterly taxes. That's something I've done. This is
Right.
things that people don't know that they even need to do that are starting out, and that's why you have to. I recommend. Obviously we run a sort of a mentorship program and have a program just to teach people how to do it the correct way. But even if you don't want to pay for something like that, you still need to know what you're doing when you run this as a business, part time or full time. You still need to treat it like a business, to get paid like a business, to take legal tax write-offs and deductions that you're entitled to, that you want to be taking advantage of. These are the huge benefits to be in business, guys. And Stu, many people don't know the notarial income is not subject to the self-employment tax piece. There's a lot of confusion around that, and I'm not going to explain all of it, but the idea is you need to know what benefits are available to you,
Right.
to save tons on taxes. It's a big deal that people sort of
Not
forget
just
about.
that, but being a corporation, you have a better chance at more tax write-offs. Even the use of your vehicle. If you're a sole proprietor, you only get, I think it's 54.5 cents per mile, I believe, plus a percentage of the use of your vehicle. As an LLC, I I own my vehicle. I lease it to my company. The company pays for everything, uh, the upkeep, insurance, the whole 9 yards, and I can write off 100% of it.
Nice. And
And
guys,
that's just a portion
if you
of
don't
what
know
you
how to
can
do
do.
things like that, work with your accountant. It's okay if if you don't know, or this is all new, or if you've never heard of some of these things before. Obviously, a lot of it's notary specific, like the certain things, but that's what you have an accountant for. That's why you pay them. To not, Stu's been in the business for a while. He's run businesses before, but if you are clueless, it's okay. You can learn it. You can learn it over time, but also just work with your accountant as well. It's no one starts knowing everything, right? You develop it. It takes years to develop. Stu, let's roll to the next question about loan closings versus general notary work. Can you talk to a little bit about some of the differences? I know that you wanted to touch base on this one. Just talk about what you think is important with maybe either the differences or whatever you wanted to bring up with those two.
Well, general notary work, it's another source of income. And if the loan closings are slow, you should market yourself on that end of it. Doing all types of general notary work, whether it's school field trip documents or powers of attorneys or wills, whatever you're able to do, you're a notary. And that's the bottom line, is you're there to serve the public.
That's
There's
it.
money to be made in all aspects of being a notary.
Very
Take
true.
advantage of it.
Yep, that's fantastic. You guys serve the public without judgment. Be there to help them. These people can't notarize their own signature. They need people like you, Stu. They have to rely. They can't do their own signing. They should not be having the realtor do their own signings. These people need us, guys. It's by law a requirement. So if you haven't figured out this business, you want to be in the business that by law they're required to use someone like you. That's a better business than by law they don't need to use you. And so
Right.
you can kind of capitalize on that with, can you maybe drop some hints for people? Look, I don't do general notary work, but I'm not a dummy. I've been around the block. I mean, schools, rehab centers, hospitals. There's a lot of different places to open up your book of business to these people if that's what you want to do with general notary work. Can you maybe drop some clues on something like that?
Get out of your car, walk into a shopping center, and just give out your card. Go into every single business and give out your card, whether it's to an insurance company or to the Hallmark store at the corner. Give out or laundromat. Give out your cards. Someone is going to need a notary at some point for something. Plus, advertise. Get your name
Stu
out
loves
there.
it. Yeah.
If you could put it on a billboard, get it done.
That's right. I love it.
And I also do mentoring as well. I do mentoring. I don't charge for it locally. There are notaries here. We all help each other. We're all out here for the same thing,
Right.
to be successful.
Yep,
To
and
make
help
money.
people make money, help people. I mean, that's what notaries do. That's awesome. One of my favorite, I mean, I've seen a lot of the general notary forms. One of my favorites is one of the retirement forms that's like, basically it says like, are you still alive? Go get this notarized.
Proof of life document. Yes,
Yep.
I get them all year round. Yes.
Some are, to me, and I don't work on them regularly, but when I see them, some of them I chuckle at, like, hey, I'm still alive, another year, another notch on the belt kind of thing. And
because they want to get their pension. They're all different types of documents, whether it's DMV documents, proof of life documents. Out here, we have a thing where every year people move around town, and the school makes them notarize a document to prove that they still live in a zone for that one certain school. For argument's sake, there are so many different types of general notary work documents out there, and it keeps me busy. It does.
Yep. Guys, Stu's dropping some great knowledge. He's bringing some real value with how to run this as a business, on how to find these people, how to market yourself, where to go. I mean, this is fantastic for people that are interested in the general notary route, and even the loan signings. We touched base on that a lot. So the next thing I want to talk about, Stu, is we obviously both want people to be successful in this business and not give it, the quote unquote good old college try, if you will. Can you talk a little bit about running this as a business and what that means to you? We talked about the advertising piece, but maybe some operations, just a daily basis of tracking things, how you manage. I mean, anything that you can maybe pull back the curtains just a little bit on as far as the operations for what you do.
Well, I run the business through Microsoft Office, Outlook for my emails, Excel for my spreadsheets, Word for my invoices, convert them to a PDF when I have to email them out. My logo is also trademarked. A great company out here called Infirm Technologies. They built my website and my brand, but you have to work at it yourself. Just because you pay other people to help get you started doesn't
Still have to
mean
manage
that you're going to
them.
stay successful. You still have to manage
Yeah,
it and
still got to
have
be
to put the
active.
time in. Got
Yeah,
to put the time in. I'm up every day at around 5 a.m. and I'm in bed 9, 10 o'clock at night, maybe later.
perfect. Yep, I
And I
love
do
it.
run a 24-hour-a-day business. And now I have notaries that will go out there late at night, as I'm now in my 50s, and I don't want to go out late at night, but I still
Yep,
get the clients taken care of.
yep.
One way or the other, they always get taken care of, even if it's not me directly seeing them.
Right. Sorry about that. And yeah,
Don't
Stu. I
ring the
mean,
bells of St. Mary.
I think that is no. Guys, Stu's been around the block. He's running this as a business. He takes it seriously. Early to bed and early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. You know, it's I've been out there at 10:30 at night doing closings. Those days are long gone for me. But let me tell you, years and years of pounding the pavement, taking care of customers early, taking care of them late. They will come back to you. They appreciate it. They need to get it signed, and they appreciate to give the business to someone who they know is going to just handle it with no headaches and be polite on the phone and say yes to all the orders. The other day, Stu, I talked about I never tell someone no. I'll say yes for a different time, a higher dollar amount. Maybe I can't do it today. Yes, I'll do it tomorrow for you. Can we do it tomorrow? Always push
Yeah.
for the yes. Be the yes person. They
Mm-hmm.
will remember that. They know that you wiggle a little bit, and they have an appreciation because, guys, these companies are up against the clock and need something scheduled, and they need it scheduled right now, kind of thing. And so, you know, I use a lot with Excel for my business, but you know, yes, it's paperwork, but on the back end, I also use Word and Excel and convert to PDF. I talk about printers and scanners. You know, HP for printers, what I use, Brother for scanner. They have great support. There's a little bit of technology, but it's not that expensive of a business to start. A lot of businesses can be 10, 20, 50 grand to start. This is nowhere near that, Stu.
Right.
There's really no dollar amount to pinpoint because you can go either way, but the idea is it's not an expensive business to start, and you can do really well when you know what you're doing in this business to get clients and do orders, and just simply operate. You can advertise, you can not advertise, you can have a website, you don't need a website, you can customize anything in this loan signing business, and I think that's what makes it
Right.
special. There's no
But I
right or wrong.
also believe, for me personally, I go at it with both feet firmly entrenched in the fire.
Yeah,
That's me. I want people to call me. I don't want them calling the next guy. Though I help everyone in this business, I'd rather people keep calling me.
of course.
That's the name of the game. But that's me. Not everyone does it like that, but I'd rather keep my phone ringing all the time.
Sure. Guys, there's a reason me and Stu are still in this business. It's because we get people to call us back and call us on a regular daily basis for closings. And is it rocket science? No, it is not. But let me tell you, if you're rude on the phone, if you show up late, I had a guy wear jeans to one of my closings as a loan officer. I almost fired him on the spot. I didn't. But guys, dress professional, be nice. Word comes around, get the business cards in there, and it's not rocket science, Stu. It's just good business. And taking care of people honorably through the notary public role of being a public official for your state and helping people do the things that by law they're required to use you for.
And you always talk about wearing jeans real quick. I was mentioned, don't park on anyone's driveway. If you have an
Yeah,
oil leak or if you have an older car, park in the street. Don't park in their driveway. They
yeah,
won't be happy with you if they come out of their house and you're
yeah.
backing out and now you just left a nice oil slick on their front driveway.
Yeah, courtesy goes a long way. That's funny.
Yes.
That's a great tip. Guys, be sure to hire Stu Berman in Las Vegas, Nevada for all your 24-hour needs for closings and general notary work. Stu's got his card. He advertises. He's got his website. Make sure to find him. If you are looking to get started or get more business, I have an entirely free 90-minute training right on my website, notarysigningagentblueprint.com. I'll tell you exactly how I got started without any time, money, or experience. In 2008, 65,000 in student loan debt. I had a full-time job. I had every reason not to get in this business, and I'm still here over a decade later. And I'm very proud to say that. I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Awesome, Stu. Nice job.